Have you ever felt like your thoughts were swirling in circles, but no matter how hard you try, you just can't find clarity? In a world overloaded with noise, distraction, and endless scrolling, clear thinking is no longer common. It's rare, powerful, and essential. What if I told you the ancient Stoics discovered a timeless roadmap, 6 simple yet profound lessons to help you rise above the mental chaos? A foggy mind is like a cluttered room. You know there's something important hidden inside, but you can't quite find it beneath the mess. In today's digital world, we're surrounded by a flood of information, yet starved for focus. Clear thinking isn't just helpful anymore. It's a superpower. The good news? The Stoic philosophers, those calm, unshakable thinkers of the past, walked through their own storm of thoughts, temptations, and distractions. And from that journey, they've passed down 6 powerful principles to help us think with crystal clarity. So if you've ever felt trapped in your own mind, overwhelmed by noise, overthinking, or uncertainty, you're not alone. And this message is for you. If this is your first time here, and you're ready to challenge your mental habits, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon, because this isn't just another video to watch. It's a journey to transform your mind. Let's not merely drift through life on autopilot. Let's understand it, let's shape it, let's grow into it together. And if you're truly ready to level up your mindset, I challenge you. Watch until the very end. Prove to yourself that you're not just curious, you're committed. Are you in? Now let's begin. Embrace the power of stillness. In today's hyper-connected world, it's far too easy to lose yourself in the noise. Notifications buzzing, timelines updating, content flying at us every second. It's a storm out there. And without realizing it, we drown in distraction. But the first step toward clear thinking is not about doing more. It's about pausing. Stillness doesn't mean escaping to a mountaintop or meditating for hours in silence. It simply means taking a breath, slowing down, and listening to the quiet underneath all the noise. In that quiet, you'll start to hear your own voice again, your real thoughts, separate from the world's chatter. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Even in chaos, we carry a calm center within us. And the more we practice returning to that inner refuge, the more clarity we gain. You don't need to overhaul your day. Start with just a few minutes. Sit in silence, reflect, or simply be. This isn't about avoiding reality. It's about facing it from a grounded place. Stillness is not inaction, it's deliberate clarity. It's a space where insight is born, where emotions soften, and where decisions become sharper. In that modern world, you navigate it with wisdom. Question your assumptions. Now that you've begun to cultivate inner stillness, the next step is just as essential, but far more uncomfortable. Are you brave enough to question your own beliefs? We all carry assumptions about the world, about others, about ourselves. These beliefs shape everything, how we think, act, and respond. But here's the hard truth. Not all of them are true. Some of our beliefs are inherited. Others are reactions to past pain or fear. But if we never pause to question them, we risk living inside an invisible prison. Seneca once said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." How many times has fear, not fact, blurred your judgment? To think clearly, you must challenge what you think you know. Be curious. Be open. Be willing to change your mind. This doesn't mean doubting everything. It means staying mentally flexible. You don't have to rebel against every idea. But ask yourself, is this belief helping me or holding me back? Because clarity comes not from stubbornness, but from the courage to see the world as it truly is, not as we've assumed it to be. Focus on what you can control. The world is vast, complicated, chaotic, and let's face it, most of it is outside your control. So what is within your power? Your actions, your responses. Your attitude. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic teacher, said it best. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. If your mind is constantly consumed with things you can't influence, what people think of you, the past, the future, you'll remain anxious and unfocused. But when you redirect your energy toward what you can control, everything changes. You reclaim your power. You regain your clarity. Next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, take action. That's the Stoic path to peace and mental freedom. And now that we've uncovered these first 3 lessons, stillness, questioning assumptions, and control, it's time to dive deeper, because the next Stoic insight will challenge the very way you see success, failure, and meaning. Ready for the 4th principle? Let's turn the page. We ended with a powerful truth. You may not control the chaos around you, but you do control how you respond to it. That idea alone can change the way you move through the world. It's a timeless Stoic principle, one that helps cut through the noise of modern life. Because while the world constantly throws distractions, disappointments, and decisions at us, we still have agency. We can still choose our response. In this age of non-stop information, breaking news, and endless choices, it's easy to feel buried, mentally and emotionally. But when we narrow our focus to what's actually within our control, everything begins to shift. We stop spinning. We start seeing. This doesn't mean we ignore what's going on in the world. It means we choose where our energy goes. When we center our attention on our own actions, our reactions, and our attitude, we navigate life not with stress, but with intention and clarity leads to confidence. Instead of getting pulled in 1,000 directions or paralyzed by what we can't change, we move forward with a quiet, grounded strength. That's the power of focusing on the controllable. Seek simplicity after learning to focus. The next step toward clear thinking is embracing simplicity. Think about it. We live in a world of overabundance, too many options, too much noise, too many to-do lists, opinions, apps, and demands. But clarity doesn't thrive in clutter. To think clearly, we must learn to simplify our thoughts, our environment, our decisions. And if you've made it this far into the video, you're already proving something rare. You're not just scrolling. You're seeking, you're reflecting, you're choosing depth over distraction. That alone sets you apart. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Simplicity, then, isn't about lack. It's not about throwing everything away or living like a monk. It's about removing the non-essential, clearing space for what matters most. That might mean decluttering your physical space, or it could be cutting down your commitments, refocusing your goals, or simplifying your routines. Whatever the method, the result is the same. Less noise, more clarity. And when we make simplicity a habit, thinking clearly becomes easier, because we're no longer weighed down by the unnecessary. Cultivate a growth mindset. Simplicity gives you space. But what you do with that space, that's where the growth mindset comes in. To think clearly, we must believe, not in perfection, but in progress. A growth mindset is the belief that you can change, that your abilities can be developed, that intelligence is not fixed, but flexible. And this isn't just a modern idea. The Stoics lived by it. Seneca once wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." That's it. Life is learning. And when you stop learning, you stop living fully. In our modern world, it's easy to feel stuck, trapped by failures, labels, or the past. But the growth mindset allows you to reframe it all. Mistakes, lessons, setbacks, training, challenges, stepping stones. When you believe you can grow, every obstacle becomes an opportunity. Every day becomes a chance to refine how you think, feel, and act. This mindset opens doors to new perspectives. It fuels resilience, and it keeps you curious, hungry to understand yourself and the world with greater depth. Practice active listening. And now, for one of the most overlooked yet essential tools of clear thinking, listening. We live in a culture that rewards speaking, posting, and shouting. But the Stoics understood something deeper. To listen well is to think well. Active listening is not just about hearing words. It's about being fully present, mentally and emotionally. It means resisting the urge to interrupt, argue, or drift away in your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius observed, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." That quote reminds us, we don't know everything. And by truly listening to others, we open the door to deeper understanding, not just of them, but of ourselves. When you practice active listening, you pick up on more than words. You notice tone, emotion, intention. You connect, you learn. And beyond mental clarity, this habit strengthens relationships. It builds trust. It invites open, meaningful dialogue. Because sometimes the greatest clarity comes not from speaking louder, but from listening deeper. With these final 3 lessons, simplicity, growth mindset, and active listening, you now hold the full set of Stoic tools for thinking clearly in a noisy world. But clarity isn't a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong practice. So now the question is, how do you live out these lessons in your daily life? That's what we'll explore next. These 6 Stoic practices, stillness, questioning assumptions, focusing on what you can control, simplicity, a growth mindset, and active listening, are more than just ideas. They are tools designed to help us think more clearly, choose more wisely, and connect more deeply with the world and people around us. But like any worthwhile skill, clear thinking doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience, it takes practice, and it requires the willingness to slow down in a world that constantly tells us to speed up. Yet the reward? It's profound. When your mind is clear and your spirit is grounded, even the chaos of modern life becomes more manageable. The noise fades. The distractions lose their grip. You begin to see things as they are, not as fear or impulse would have you see them. The timeless wisdom of the Stoics speaks louder than ever today. These ancient teachings aren't relics. They're roadmaps. In an age of overwhelm, they offer practical clarity and inner strength. And when you commit to applying them, not just understanding them, you begin to build resilience. You train your mind to stay centered. You shape a life that's not driven by reaction, but guided by thoughtful intention. So before you go, take a moment. Reflect on what you've just heard. Did something here spark a shift in your thinking? Did a single sentence help you pause, breathe, and see your world a little more clearly? If so, don't let that clarity fade. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Your engagement isn't just a number, it's encouragement. It fuels this growing community of deep thinkers and seekers, people like you who want more than noise, people who are ready to think with purpose, and I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you don't know what to say, simply write, "I think clearly." Sometimes that one phrase is enough to remind us of the commitment we're making to ourselves. Your reflections and experiences help shape this space into something meaningful, a place of wisdom, growth, and mutual learning. Together, we're building a beacon of calm in a world that often feels chaotic. And if you're hungry for more, you're in the right place. Select one of the Stoic wisdom videos that will appear on your screen now. Let the journey continue. This path to clarity, it's not walked alone. Together we learn, together we grow, and together we light the way toward a future shaped by insight, not impulse.